and we're not here to be cowards. We're not here to disrespect, and we're not here to kiss nobody's ass. You know, we're family and friends, but once it comes to that ring, I know Swift gonna bring it.
When Garcia and Gonzalez first faced off, the air felt heavy. There wasn't chaos or cheap talk, just that quiet tension of two real fighters who know what's coming. Garcia's camp talked about respect, about family and brotherhood, but made one thing crystal clear. When that bell rings, friendship dies. Gonzalez's corner echoed it. No fear, no backing down, only mutual destruction on the horizon. That's what separates real fighters from entertainers. They don't need to hype a rivalry. The violence speaks for itself. Garcia's demeanor, calm, confident, unbothered, was the mark of a man who's been here before.
Danny's gonna be there to bring it right back to you, brother. God bless, and thank you for the opportunity. And like we said, this is the real DG come October 18th, no doubt.
He's faced elite pressure. He survived wars with Thurman, Porter, and Spence, and still walked out standing tall. Gonzalez, though, stood like a man with something to prove. A man stepping into the deep end for the first time, convinced he can swim with sharks. But here's where the difference lies. Garcia doesn't just fight, he calculates. He baits, he counterpunches, he punishes mistakes. Gonzalez, on the other hand, thrives on chaos. He wants exchanges, he wants emotion, but emotion gets you hurt against a technician like Garcia. This section set the tone. This isn't bad blood. It's professional cruelty.
So we're really excited to have Danny back here at the Barclay. It's kind of historic. He started it in 2012. It's literally 2 days apart. So now he's coming back to say his farewell. It's going to be a hell of a night. It's going to be a great fight.
When Danny's manager, Moses Ramon, spoke before the fight, his words hit like a premonition. We're not here to be cowards. We're not here to kiss anybody's ass. We're family. But once that bell rings, Danny's bringing it right back to you. It wasn't trash talk. It was a message, the kind that lets everyone in the building know that this is business. Ramon reminded the world that boxing isn't about fake hugs or mutual social media love. It's about domination. When he said, Danny's going to bring it right back to you, what he really meant was expect violence. And that's the scary thing about Garcia. His respect doesn't come with mercy.
So you don't want to miss it, and you damn sure don't want to blink. Because you can talk whatever you want to talk, but when you step in a ring, everybody know. The lights come on, you know who the DG is.
He can smile during the weigh-in, shake your hand, and still rip your body apart with left hooks 24 hours later. Ramon's statement wasn't just hype, it was insight into the Garcia mentality. Measured savagery. Gonzalez's side nodded, accepted the challenge. But even in that acceptance, you could sense it, the difference in energy. Garcia's camp looked ready to execute a plan. Gonzalez's camp looked ready to survive one.
So October 18th, it's going to be a great fight. Gonzalez is coming to fight, yes. When we start dropping that leather on him, would he be able to handle that shit? You know what I mean? I mean, he been around, ain't no fucking slouch.
Reporters brought up the obvious, the division's chaos. With belts tied up, champions injured, contenders waiting, and matchups freezing, this fight wasn't just another bout. It was a way to make something happen. Garcia's team knew it. Usyk was injured. The division stalled. So, what do you do when the world stops moving? You move faster. You create opportunity. Frank Warren called it a cracker of a fight because it wasn't just about rankings, it was about staying alive in the game.
We don't take nobody lightly. He's gonna come to fight, he's gonna try to prove something. But when we start landing that leather, hey, listen, would he be able to handle that shit? But I want him to handle that shit.
That's why this fight matters. Garcia's not chasing clout. He's chasing rhythm, the kind that keeps a career relevant. And Gonzalez? He's trying to steal that rhythm. But as any veteran knows, desperation is dangerous fuel. It burns hot and fast, then dies quick. Garcia's strategy is patience. Gonzalez's is explosion. The clash of those two energies, experience versus hunger, is what makes this fight volcanic.
From Queens, New York, 22-4, won 7 knockouts. He earned 2 wins in 2024, including a win over Michael Anderson in October to pick up the IBF USBA welterweight strap.
In one interview, Garcia's camp spoke on the division being held up. That frustration, that sense of waiting for fights that never happen. It's real. But instead of complaining, Garcia did what warriors do. He adapted. They said, Usyk's injured, nothing we can do about that, but we're making things happen and delivering. That line right there defines Garcia's longevity.
So I'm just excited. October 18th, I'm coming to shock the world. I've been grinding 20 years, working hard. I've been training since June. I'm in shape.
He doesn't sit back waiting for opportunity. He creates it. That's what separates the greats. Even when the big fights stall, Danny steps in against whoever's available. And not just for a paycheck, but to remind the world he's still the benchmark. Gonzalez, meanwhile, represents that wave of fighters who think the division's politics open a window. But that's the trap, because when you rush through an open window, you forget who's waiting on the other side. And the man waiting this time? Danny Swift Garcia, the veteran who turns stay-busy fights into highlight reels.
37-4, 21 knockout CEO of Swift Promotions, former 140 and 147-pound world champion, headlining at Barclays Center for a record 10th time.
Commentator Ade Oladipo broke it down. Garcia's frustration wasn't just about waiting. It was about the rungs of the ladder. How does a fighter like him, a former multi-division champ, keep moving down in competition just to stay active? It's insulting. But instead of folding, he flipped it. Ade said, if he's not fighting Usyk, who does he fight? That's the question. And Garcia answered it with violence. Every fighter who tried to step in for the big names got the same treatment. Body shot, left hook, silence.
The best in Philly in an era of loaded Philly greats. He represents his Puerto Rican heritage proudly throughout his stellar career. He's faced 14 world champions.
That's what's brewing here. Garcia's been waiting, simmering, watching the division overlook him. Gonzalez, unfortunately, walked right into that storm. You could sense it in Garcia's training footage. Sharper, meaner, personal. This isn't just another paycheck. It's a statement. Because every time the boxing world forgets Danny Garcia, he reminds them with his fists.
I'm excited, I still got a lot of fight left in me. I fought 14 world champions. My last fight was for the middleweight title. Didn't go my way, but it's okay.
Analyst Liam Goff summed up the pre-fight vibe. Calm. Not fake humility, not media silence, calm. He said he's expecting a good fight, but not chaos. Not the kind we saw in pressers like Wardley versus Miller. And that calmness? That's danger. Because when fighters like Garcia go quiet, it means they're locked in. You can see it in his eyes during fight week. That eerie stillness of a man who's already visualized every round, every punch, every reaction. Gonzalez can talk, can joke, can even look relaxed, but deep down, he knows Danny's silence is a storm brewing. Garcia doesn't do theatrics.
Setbacks happen in boxing, but if you look at all my setbacks, what I did, I came back stronger every time. I knocked somebody out or I beat somebody up bad, and that's what I plan to do October 18th.
He doesn't throw tables or scream into microphones. He just waits. And when the bell rings, that silence turns into punishment. That's why, despite both men being heavy-level killers, I believe Danny Garcia is going to beat the shit out of Daniel Gonzalez, because some fighters want to win. But Danny Garcia, he needs to remind the world that he still runs this show.
He's coming to fight. I know he says he's the real DG, but I got a nickname for him. Dookie Gonzalez. Dookie going down.
That's all right. We're going to call him Duke Gonzalez.
Dookie going down on October 18th.
Danny Garcia stood in front of the cameras, calm but lethal. The kind of confidence that doesn't shout. It slices. He smirked when he said Gonzalez calls himself the real DG. You could hear the mockery in his tone when he gave him a new nickname, Dookie Gonzalez. That wasn't childish trash talk. That was Garcia marking territory. Because to him, there's only one DG in this sport, and it's the man who's been headlining arenas for a decade. When Garcia said, Dookie going down October 18th, it wasn't arrogance, it was prophecy. He's a fighter who's fought killers and legends, who's been booed, doubted, and yet always came out with that same cold stare of a man who knows exactly who he is. And when he said, he can't be no version of Danny Garcia, not young, not old, not past his prime, he wasn't exaggerating.
Listen, right? He can't be no version of Danny Garcia, the young, the old, the past his prime. Trust me, I believe that. You can't be no versions of Danny Garcia. So, y'all know when Danny Garcia come to this building, he come to fight.
He was stating fact. Gonzalez might be younger, hungrier, maybe even fresher, but Garcia is battle-tested. He's seen every style. Slick movers, heavy punchers, swarmers, and every single one of them walked away knowing they were in with something different. Danny doesn't fight like a boxer. He fights like a statement. That nickname wasn't for laughs. It was a warning wrapped in a smirk. Because Danny doesn't need to scream threats. His record already does that. October 18th isn't about proving Gonzalez wrong. It's about reminding the world that even after all these years, Garcia still runs through anybody who dares to borrow his initials. And when he said he's coming to fight, you believed him, because that's what he's always done. No gimmicks, no ducking, no excuses. Just war.
I feel like I'm undefeated in this building. The 2 losses I got are slim, very controversial. So there's something about this building when Danny Garcia comes to fight. It's just something. He's possessed and he wants to win. So come October 18th, I can't wait. It's gonna be a great show, and I'm put Dookie down. See y'all on October 18th.
Garcia's confidence went deeper than pre-fight bravado when he said, I feel like I'm undefeated in this building. When Danny Garcia fights here, he's possessed. You could sense something personal. Every fighter has that one arena, that one place that brings out the best or the beast. For Garcia, that place is Brooklyn. This wasn't just another fight to him. This was his homecoming. He called his 2 losses controversial, and while critics may debate that, you could tell he's internalized those moments, not as defeats, but as fuel. When he said, I'm gonna put Dookie down, there was no laughter, no showmanship, just that calm chill in his voice.
You know, I want this to be his farewell to boxing, not to Brooklyn. And I'm just here to win, and I'm going to shock the world.
That's the sound of a man who's already visualized the knockout 1,000 times. But then comes Gonzalez, young, sharp, hungry, saying he wants this fight to be Garcia's farewell to boxing. That line hit differently. It wasn't just confidence, it was audacity. Gonzalez didn't come to share the stage. He came to steal it. He believes he's the next in line, the man to end an era. And that's what makes this fight beautiful. The collision of legacy and ambition. Gonzalez wants to shock the world. Garcia wants to remind it. 2 men, same stage, but only one can own the lights when the cameras flash. And when you look at Garcia's face during that press conference, the little smirk after Gonzalez's claim, you just know he's thinking, you're about to learn why I don't lose in this building.
He fought a coked out Benavidez, so that fight don't mean nothing. His last knockout's 2019. He got no power at 54. I'm gonna bring that dog fight. We're gonna see who's got the bigger dog.
Then came the heat. Gonzalez fired shots, calling out Garcia's age, his power, his knockouts. He fought a coked-out Benavidez, he said, trying to discredit Garcia's past fights. He got no power at 154. That's the kind of talk that sells fights, but it also shows youth. Because no veteran ever underestimates another man's hands, especially not Danny Garcia's. Gonzalez said he's bringing a dog fight, that he's got that inner hunger, that street instinct that makes you dangerous. And sure, he does.
You gotta say, I'm a Danny Garcia. So I'm gonna shock the world like he did with Amir Khan and all those fights. I'm gonna do it to him.
But here's the thing. Garcia's been in dog fights his whole life. He's been cut, rocked, booed, dropped, but he's never been broken. Gonzalez wants to test who's got the bigger dog. But when you step in with Garcia, you realize real quick, this man doesn't bark. He bites that what's fascinating here is the psychology. Gonzalez keeps saying, I'm not worried about what he's saying. I'm a Danny Garcia. He's trying to absorb that identity, trying to convince himself he's the next version. It's admirable, but it's dangerous. Because when you convince yourself you're your opponent, you forget that he's already mastered the role you're trying to play. He wants to shock the world like Danny did with Amir Khan. But the irony is, he's trying to become the man he's about to fight. And that never ends well.